Welcome back, card game players. This is Maelstrom Gaming, and today we are talking about Green Purple Luffy, and we actually have some gameplay versus it as well. We have Green Purple Luffy being introduced in EBO2, activate main, once per turn, Dawn -2. If you only have Straw Hat type characters in play, set up to 2 of your rested Dawn cards as active. Then, List Leader gets plus 1000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. A lot of people are really excited about this leader because it is able to swarm the board and it's able to make a 6k leader every single turn. If you look at Sanji Pudding, they have the ability that whenever 2 or more of your Dawn are returned to your Dawn deck, you can set one of your Dawn cards as active. This, in combination with our leader, makes it that Dawn -2 doesn't hit us quite as hard every single turn. There are 2 other cards in the deck that we are looking at fighting against as a Lucci player. The first one being Going Merry is probably the most relevant one because it adds cost to our opponent's characters. They can activate this and give them +2 cost, and it makes it a little bit harder to kill things. And if they have multiples of these, they can actually activate, give +2 cost, play another stage, activate +2 cost. So we need to watch out and make sure that we are preparing to be able to kill things that are cost +2, or be able to save our larger things like Laboon, Kuzan, or even Uda as a way to just like kind of auto-negate it. We need to save those and keep them alive and make sure that we are able to use those over and over and over. The last card we're really talking about is this Rush Luffy. By the time that they're playing this, it will always have Rush. When attacking once per turn, they can return 2 of their Dawn cards to their Dawn deck and set as active, and then they add the top card of their life to their hand. In order to make this card a little less valuable or a little more dangerous, we want to get them pretty low on life and make it that if they take that card, that it's not just free, that they're risking game, that they're risking life, and that we're able to swing. And if they don't use both of those swings on Luffy to attack our characters, that they die the next turn. Alright, with no other cards to talk about, let's get into the gameplay. Alright, this is our first game versus Green Purple Luffy ever, and I actually haven't seen any gameplay for this matchup, so we're kind of just going along. I knew that Sanji Pudding existed. I am speaking after the fact. I'm voiceovering the gameplay, but I have 3 games for you today, and they were just in a row. I just recorded them. So we just took this first hit because I'm willing to. I want the cards, and we're probably just going to attack and then drop a Kuzan. That's probably our safest bet here. Be able to set up something to deal with their larger cost characters later. So our opponent does have the Sanji Pudding, and so they go ahead, put 2 Dawn away, they get Dawn back, they activate leader ability, and they, I believe they just full swing here. I hovered Sanji Pudding so you can read it a little more if you need to, but it's also in the start of the video. Alright, yeah, they just full swing. 8. And I'm pretty cool with just taking this because I want some more cards. I am going to be able to play that Brook, so we're probably just going to toss a Dawn on Kuzan, toss a Dawn on Lucci, and drop the Brook. That's what my mind is going with at that time. So I'm just mapping things out and seeing if I really like that option. We have a couple ways that we could kill their Sanji Pudding, and I wanted to see if I wanted to attack. Alright, and then we should really drop this. We should drop this Brook. At this point, I'm debating whether or not I should go the Rebecca into a Brook, because I kind of want to just develop a blocker. They swing big, and that's a big thing you have to be ready for versus Green Purple Luffy is that they do swing big, they swing hard. And the only reason I didn't play the Rebecca into the brook is because I wanted to be able to attack with the brook. And if they kill it, I want to be able to play Rebecca into a brook without using Mancherry to cycle it back to hand. So they go 7. This is something that's worth countering, so I get rid of the Tashigi and get rid of the Nightmare Luffy. The Nightmare Luffy is fine, but it's not superb in this matchup. It kills something every turn, but we already have Brook. And we have a way to either keep Brook on board or bring him back, so it's a free counter. So 5 at lead. They did not use the plus 1000 because they no longer had Sanji Pudding, and so it wasn't free for them. So Zoro is now a 0 cost, so any Dawn on Brook threatens life and is able to kill Zoro. After that, we have 7 Dawn left. I just swing at life. And I'm probably thinking I'm just going to set up like an Uda Sabo would be really good here, because then Uda can be used for a future turn. Sabo KO protects the whole board. I'm not really sure that they're running KO effects in their deck, but it does just eliminate that as a possibility. Gets us a blocker on board, and it is a 6k body. Alright, 5 at our Brook. Now, this is where I'm thinking, okay, this is an easy Sabo block, which is why I shouldn't block with Sabo. So I counter out of this because I don't want it to use my Sabo, and I don't really mind getting rid of cards. So I get rid of Laboon, I get rid of Mancherry. And then they drop a Luffy Taro into a Sanji Pudding. Right, they should activate leader ability here. They get Dawn back. And they use Electric Luna to rest my board. Well, to keep my board frozen. And then it's at this moment that I realized that they played Electric Luna because it was kind of quick and they passed turn. So here I'm debating, is there a way for me to kill both things on their board? Because if I can, that's 2 of their Sanji Puddings, and it's probably pretty over at that point. I know they still have 6 cards in hand, but 1 life and 2 Sanji Puddings gone. If I can deal with their board, the game's over. And so I swing, I lower the cost of their Luffy Taro, and then I will activate my Uda. I'm debating what's the better choice, and my opponent realizes, you know what, they can probably deal with my board, and then I'm just done. So they scoop up the game, and we go on to the next game. Alright, here's game 2 of Green Purple Luffy, and we're fighting it as Lucci. We are going to go first in this game, and that's fine. We'll just attach a Dawn because that's how you know that you're a true One Piece player. And then draw a card, and we can just drop an Uda. We're okay with dropping an Uda, but we're probably going to swing 6k at lead first. Just fill our trash. They probably take it. Oh, no. I misremembered they used a 2k. We drop an Uda. This makes it easier for us to kill anything they play, especially the Going Merry. Uda kind of acts like a negate for Going Merry. So we'll take that life. They drop a Zorojuro. They can make Zorojuro a 6 cost. No, they can't actually, because they are higher Dawn than us. So they activate it just thinking, oh wait, we can give +2 to our Zorojuro, but they were actually wrong here. So with 5 Dawn available, our best bet here is probably attack, try to get Brook and Trash. So attack, lower Zorojuro to 3, and there's no Brook there, sadly. So what would have been nice is a Brook, use Uda, go Rebecca into Brook, but we just finger pistol because, like, we have If they have Sanji Pudding, we have a way to deal with Sanji Pudding. Um, Probably. Actually, no. I think that was a risk we took here. Like, we knew that Sanji Pudding was a thing that could exist, but I think that was our only KO. So maybe that was a misplay, but I do think it works out for us here because they make it a 7 cost, and then they have the Nami. Alright, let's see. Alright, 8,000 leader. We go ahead and take it because we need some more resources, looking for a KO outlet. We don't have one currently, but we have 7 Dawn. We are probably going to attack into lead with Lucci. No Dawn commitment, just attacking. There is the Brook, so now that means that we're able to Hina Rebecca. That's why we just did the useless attack in terms of actual damage. We didn't really care about dealing damage here. So we're going to play this Hina, give the -4 to the Sanji Pudding, activate our Uda. Uda will make Sanji Pudding -2 cost, and then we can play Rebecca, grab Brook, play Brook, KO Sanji Pudding, and now we can just pass the turn. They might buff the Nami to swing, but honestly, we're not really too worried about that. Alright, we're just kind of waiting here to see what they're going to do. We did kind of just like throw off their whole game plan by killing the main card in their deck. So we can give them a little bit of time here. While they're doing this, we do have a Mancheri that we can use to get some stuff back from trash. We have Laboon and Shirahoshi as and Hina as nice cost minus. Okay, here they've decided to start doing something. They gave plus 3,000, and they needed the 2 cost from Going Merry on the Nami in order to be able to play that. So they gave plus 3,000, and that went to their leader. They rested their character. Yep, they rested their character in order to play that card. And that rested our blocker. So now they can go for anything. If they go for Brook, we are just going to let it go. That hesitation over there was just to make sure that we had nothing in hand, and that we had no blockers, and that we really could let that Brook go. Alright, we are now thinking that we can just attack into the Nami with our leader and see if that gives us some more options. Because we can just probably Mancheri grab the Brook. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Mancheri, activate, grab Brook. We have to bottom deck 2 cards. I've misplayed before on the sim because it makes you bottom deck and then grab. So next up is Shirahoshi, and we're gonna attack first, right? It doesn't really matter a ton. Yeah, maybe it's better just to KO the blocker before they use it. There's something to be said that if they block, that we could just full swing at it with Dawn and we don't have to use resources. But we can just use Brook, KO, and then pass the turn, keep all our attackers up. I do think there's a slight misplay on my part here that I replaced a Shirahoshi. I probably should have replaced the Rebecca, because then I could have gotten the Rebecca off of Mancheri and comboed again next turn. Whereas now I would have to grab Shirahoshi instead. Now, if I do use Rebecca, that's fine. But really, at that point when they're on board, there's no point in keeping one versus the other. So Rebecca ensures that I actually get to use the combo next turn. So they do play this Rush Luffy. They're attacking for 7. And I decide just to block because I want the Rebecca in trash. And if they attack the Manchuri, they attack the Manchuri, right? Like, it's just another blocker. We took the life and we got a Rebecca, so we aren't going to reveal that Rebecca. What we're thinking here is that we can actually use Manchuri, get the Rebecca, and hide the second one. But we want to make sure we're bottom decking the best stuff, so we're going to start by minusing so we don't get thrown off by any of our... Oh, maybe I don't attack with leader here. Normally I attack with leader just so I make sure that I'm bottom decking the right stuff. But I am just going to go Rebecca, go Hina. I think I go Hina on top of Uda here. Like, Uda's fine, but at this point, like, we're getting to the point where they're not super high on resources, and we have a Manchuri that we can loop resources. They're kind of in a situation of they need to attack our Brook, our Hinas, but we have a Rebecca, and they don't really have the extra attacks to be attacking Manchuri. Yeah, we're getting them pretty low here. Yep, and they're down to 4 cards now, and we're able to use 2 on Lucci, attack, use card action, minus nothing. That way we just fill up our trash so that we have more options with Rebecca. Alright, and they see the writing on the wall, and they just concede the rest of the game. We look at their hand, and they do have Sanji Pudding, they do have Gum Gum Giants, but they're pretty bricked up otherwise, so we're going to call it there. That's it for Game 2. I'll see you in Game 3. I'm pretty happy with how this one went. Alright, here is our third and final game of Green Purple Luffy, and we actually get to pick. And I think the first 2 went on the draw and went second, so we're going to take that away, see what it's like. And we actually get our perfect even curve. We get a brand new into a Kuzan, and then we get our choice of Who's Who or Rob Lucci for the KO effect. And if we actually got an Uda off of that, even better. Otherwise, we can actually go, if they manage to pull off their leader effect, we can go on our third turn 1 Dawn on Kuzan, 1 Dawn on Lucci. So we're doing 2 attacks and then finishing off our turn with Lucci. So they go 8 Dawn at us, and we just 8k at us, and we just take it because we want more resources. We're fine. They don't go quite as fast as Zoro, so we don't have, or Bella Betty, so we don't have to be as cautious. We play our Kuzan past turn. There's nothing we have to worry about removing. And they probably drop a Sanji Pudding here. Yep. And then they minus. They go 3 available Dawn. They up the Sanji Pudding. And so Sanji Pudding is going to either take a Kuzan attack into a Who's Who, or a Kuzan and Lucci attack into a 4-cost Lucci. And I think even though Lucci is a KO2 things, that we are just going to play it anyway, because I want to keep the 2k in hand. They play a Robin blocker, but it feels a little bad because we do have the Rob Lucci able to kill 2 things, and they have 2 characters, but if they block with the Robin, it doesn't matter if we cost minus it. We're kind of like going back and forth between our decisions here. If they block here, then we essentially get 2 kills off of Rob Lucci. I like to reason it in my head like that. And if they KO, what do they get? Like Gum Gum Giant, another Sanji Pudding? We have ways to deal with it. Alright. So they knew that I was going to do that, but I think they waited to see if I was going to do a bigger attack. Because then you can use the Robin for the bigger attack. So we're going to deploy the Lucci, bottom deck Tempest Kick, Suru, and then probably the Kuzan. I don't think I'm going to use another Kuzan. KO their Sanji Pudding, pass turn. Now they are at 5 Dawn. And they drop a Zoro. That Zoro is going to try to go find another Sanji Pudding. They succeed. And this matchup, if you learn one thing from this video, just let it be that you really just all you have to do is kill Sanji Pudding, and they kind of fold. So then they minus Dawn to buff, and then they have 3 Dawn available, and they play a Nami. They are going pretty low on Dawn for not having, like, really for not having a Sanji Pudding on field. I know they have it in hand, but still. They revealed an EBO2 Luffy, so that's that rush Luffy that they can draw a life card. And their life card's pretty healthy right now. We go ahead and defend this attack because we're able to, and because I don't really mind being, like, getting rid of some of our resources. Alright, we go ahead and swing, and then we -4 cost the Zorojuro. We can go swing another 6. I'm debating swinging more here, but I think I'm just going to do the 6. Yeah, there we go. 6k at lead. Do we see a counter here? No, they take it. So then I go 6 at lead again, use card action, Merlo or Zorojuro. It doesn't really matter. We're really just using the leader skill to mill cards to trash them. And then we're just going to go Rob Lucci, KO their board. And then what they should do probably is play... They should not play Sanji Pudding next turn. They should play Rush Luffy, swing in to our board, I'm thinking. Alright, so the counter, and we play this, and we get rid of Jack. We're not going to use Jack this game. And we get rid of some other cards that we're not really going to see effective use out of, because we're going to recycle the same cards over and over. Rebecca, Brooke, we're going to use Kuzan because he's super safe this game. They play Sanji Pudding, and I get that it's a decent card, but we have 6 cards in hand. Why are they doing this? Because what, it becomes a 6, then when they swing 9, realistically they only swing 8 though, right? Yeah, they swing 8 at Kuzan. 2Ks does it. And you know what, Lucci doesn't use that many 2Ks. Like, they only use 8 to 10, closer to 9 to 10 after the Gecko ban. But I don't know, with so many cards in hand, that seems like a risky play when it's such an easy route to just being able to deal with the Sanji Pudding. I guess it's fine because the Luffy would have just... The Rush Luffy would have just been able to attack once to twice, but cost him a life card. I think they're in a losing position either way here. So what we do is we look at our trash, make sure that we want something. So we are going to go grab that Rebecca, and probably bottom deck, yep, Who's Who Laboon, grab Rebecca, play Rebecca. Are we playing Hina first? Yeah, we're playing Hina first to lower it enough, then Rebecca into Brooke. Rebecca on top of Manchuri because I can see the end of the game by this point. And I'm going to go on top of the Hina because Kuzan's important for the ability, and both Lucci's are 6Ks. and I want to keep up a blocker because I know they have Rush Luffy. They play that Rush Luffy, and at this point, they really the game's over. We are gonna play this out. We're gonna watch it, but the writing's on the wall. They gave +4 cost to their Rush Luffy. I don't know why. I don't know why. Why not just put the Dawn onto your leader and get more of an attack? Because if I spend my turn trying to kill your Luffy, then I'm not spending my turn winning the game. And so you almost want to divert my attention towards that Luffy. Anyway, so I take the hit because I can. And I wanted to be able to hold up my Rebecca in case they restood it and attacked something else. Even though it would be a bad idea, but we're just doing it, you know? Okay, at this part, I'm considering whether or not I need to be ready to kill the Luffy. Because they giant, and I have really 4 attacks. I should be able to get this. Pretty easily, I should be able to get this. But I am debating, just to be safe, do I need to be able to kill the Luffy? So I just did a light attack there, and then we're just deciding how we're going to do this. We go 6 minus, and at this point, the game's over. They have no Dawn open, and I'm noticing it's actually... Am I crazy, or is does this deck just not play a lot of counter? Anyway, I think that the deck is somewhat easy to beat. Those genuinely were my first 3 matchups versus the deck. I had never seen gameplay of the deck. I'd only looked at deck lists. But this genuinely just seems like a free win for Rob Lucci. That if this deck's running around, you don't need to tech in 8 cost Sabo, you don't need to tech in 10 cost Kuzan. Just play your list. I've cut my Kaidos, I've cut my 5 cost Ashigis. I'm just playing I'm playing a lower to the ground version of Lucci that's ready to kill things that are around that 5 cost. And Sanji Pudding fits right into that description. Now, I do have the ability to go a little higher with things like Laboon, with Uda, with Hina. So you can still deal with things that are going to be in the format like Shanks or... I don't actually know if Lim's in the format right now, but I'm ready. I'm definitely ready for this green-purple deck. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the games. I hope that this was somewhat helpful if you are a Lucci player trying to look at green-purple saying, what does the game look like? Or if you are the enemy, if you are the green-purple Luffy, I'm sorry. Sometimes you don't win every deck against every deck in the format. And this is just going to be a really rough matchup for you. Anyway, I will see you on the other side. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you next time.